Hey everybody, this is Joe from Super Console Bros, and this is another video in the Thoughts series, where I do thoughts on things. Today, now, this might seem like I'm, sorry for the bad lighting, but that I'm, I don't know, maybe bringing up old news because people have probably been talking about this for years on end. But it wasn't until recently that some actual, I guess, corporate information about this came up. Many people, and, a bunch of people in my family, um, many people have been wanting a Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat game for quite some time, and both games, both of those fighting games are great games. I enjoy both Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. And many people have been wanting those games ever since Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat essentially went head to head in the early days of the arcades. But recently what came up, at least I would hope it's recent, but whatever. I'm just here to give an opinion, even if it's old news. Anyway, apparently Capcom turned down Ed Boon's offer because it's apparently too violent for Capcom. Well, first up, I mean, to an extent you can understand, it doesn't really fit to see Ryu get his head ripped off, or for Zangief to get his, shoulder, ripped off and then used like a baseball bat to knock off his head, but you have to think that not Mortal Kombat, I'll put it to you this way, is a game where the fatalities and the blood and guts, they're a nice feature to the game, but they're not what makes or breaks the game. MK versus DC, MK versus DC Universe wasn't that bad of a game. I mean, yeah, the fatalities were numbed down, and maybe some people didn't like that, but for the most part, it was still a fun game, and while me personally, I don't really know if DC was really the best series to merge with Mortal Kombat. I do think it was still a fun game. I mean, I've even heard stories of there still are competitive tournaments for that game as well as the other games in the series. And then you have NetherRealm, who's known about blood and guts, making a game like Injustice, which barely has any blood at all. My point being is that I guess people could argue, oh, there wouldn't be any fatalities in the game, maybe, I guess the best way to put it, for the people that are butthurt about that, about the fatalities, just suck it up. I mean, if a Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter game gets made and it doesn't have any fatalities, I think a lot more people would be happy rather than unhappy. A lot of people I know would be happy about the game, and I know I'd be happy about that video game, because, people even to this day still want to see, I don't know, Sub-Zero and, Sagat go fighting, or they want to see, Zangief and Goro go at it, or Chun-Li or Cammy versus Kitana and Melina in, like, a tag team or something. But my point being is, what do you think if... Because recently, like I told you, Ed Boon... I might not have mentioned this, but Ed Boon still does want to do the game, as well as apparently a fighting game with strictly just horror movie characters, which he nicknamed apparently Super Slash Brothers as a joke. But the point is, me personally, I'm just pointing out that if a Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat game was made without the fatalities or without the guts or the gory stuff, I wouldn't care, because I think a game where, fighting's as a genre, the fighting game genre has the two biggest and most iconic franchises merge into one, I think we can, I guess, let it slide to not have any gory stuff in the game just this time around. And like I said, in my opinion, while the gory stuff and the fatalities are nice in the Mortal Kombat games, they don't make or break the game. I think maybe super moves and x-rays would still be cool, and maybe just have a fatality that doesn't end, with guts and stuff. But I was just wondering what your thoughts are on this kind of topic, And do you think that even though Capcom has talked about how they claim that game will never come around, maybe Ed Boon and Capcom could come to an agreement and make it and go the versus DC universe route? Let me know what you think. Catch you around, guys. Comment, rate, subscribe, and appreciate the feedback. Catch you around.